Hi, my name is Lachey Nisley, and I'm going to be talking about my Strand Project. I did my SOL on measurement, and I chose kindergarten, and I chose K.9, which states the student will compare two objects or events using direct comparisons according to one or more of the following attributes: length, longer or shorter; height, taller or shorter; weight, heavier or lighter; temperature, hotter or colder; volume, more or less; and time, longer or shorter. Here I have my unpacking of the standards. This is where we break it down and we talk about the background knowledge, the SOL, what they need to know, the nouns, what they have to do, and then what type of Bloom's taxonomy is it. Along with this, we also have a concept map that I was able to do and break it down even more. So the first thing that I did was a note-taking activity where I am going to have the students fill out a foldable. I will make the foldable, since they are kindergarten, label it. They will have the definition already written for them, and then I will have different pictures for them to glue on, and so they can look through this through the whole unit when we're learning about measurements, height, weight, length, temperature, volume, and time. And also they're able to draw things, and as they keep going they can add on to it, but this will be one of the first things that we do for this. After the note-taking activity is my folder game. Here is my folder game. It's called Mystic Measurements, and here's the standard right here. This is my game board with the different things that they'll be using, and here's the directions. So basically they are going to, it's kind of like Candyland, it's kind of what I based off of. It's 2 to 4 players, and each color represents a certain attribute. So blue is time, yellow is temperature, purple is length, green is weight, orange is volume, and pink is height. And so what they're going to do is first they will each roll the dice to see who goes first, and the person with the lowest number is going to go first. So they will roll the dice, and then they are going to pick a card. So say they get green. So they'll move to green. And this card says, which is heavier? And they have a basketball or a brick. The answer is brick, so if they get it right, they get to stay there, but if they get it incorrect, they'll have to move back to where they were before. So that's how that goes. And there's also game pieces. The game pieces are Little Wizard's hat, because the main point of this game is Misty the Magical Wizard hat was stolen by the evil wizard, and she needs to get it back in order to make sure that the world doesn't become evil. And my props are attached to the back of this. So after the foldable game is my tiered activities. And so for my tiered activity, I decided to do flashcards. So they'll be split. Each child is going to receive flashcards depending. So on my below grade level, they just have pictures, and they're gonna say which is shorter, which is longer, which is heavier, which is lighter, etc. My on grade level learners are going to have the same pictures, but they'll have to say which is longer, shorter, yada yada like that, but they'll also have to do the attribute, which is like volume, temperature, what type of measure it is basically. And then for the final, my above grade level will be doing which is shorter, which is greater, and then they'll also, there's either little squares, maybe an ice cream cone, how many scoops tall is this, and they'll have to use non-standard units to tell us. My integrated activities for science, I chose Standard K.1, which states the student will demonstrate an understanding of scientific reasoning, logic, and the nature of science by planning and conducting investigations which A. Basic characteristics or properties are objects identified by direct observations. Observations are made from multiple positions to achieve different perspectives. C. A set of objectives is sequenced according to size. D. A set of objects is separated into two groups based on single physical characteristics. And E. Non-standard units are used to measure the length, mass, volume, and common objects. So basically they're learning about scientific investigation. So for this, they're going to be split into groups of 3 or 4, and there's going to be 6 stations. And at each station, there's going to be something different. Like at station 1, there's 2 cups of water with different amounts in, but also different colors. So they'll have to write that down or draw it. There'll be 2 different erasers that are 2 sizes, so they'll need to measure that. Third station is 2 different rocks, so they'll see which is heavier, the different characteristics. The 4th is different pencils, and so on until they get done. For my social studies, or social science, I chose standards K.5, letter C, which states the student will use simple maps and globes to locate land and water features, and E, identify places and objects of familiar places. So since we've been talking about the world, I'm going to have them start with a large map. At station 1, they'll break up into 3 groups, and they'll have a dry erase marker here. And obviously this will be a lot bigger because there'll be a lot of kids. And they're just gonna compare the different continents and say which is smaller, which is bigger, which body of water holds the most water. And then they're going to break it down. The next station will be, they're going to be comparing cities of Virginia. So like, here's Lynchburg, this tiny place, and we're going to compare it to the others. And then the last one is the school. I just compared Liberty University because that's what school I'm at right now. So I would compare it to like Bradford, Briar College, and stuff like that. But they would compare it to like their elementary schools and like their streets, which house are bigger, taller, stuff like that. So for my lesson plan, my objective is given 2 of the same objects, a certain type of measurement, the student will be able to compare the 2 objects with an 8 out of 10 success rate. So I'm going to begin the lesson by dressing as a wizard to go along with the game. And I'm going to have different objects, and I'm going to point to a wand, say which is bigger, which is smaller. And then instruction, I'm going to start out by reading Millions to Measure by David Schwartz. And then we're going to fill out a notes thing, and that's different from my note-taking device. This is a plastic bag with kind of fill in the notes drawing. And then we're actually going to, I'll put shaving cream or magic foam on their desk, and they get to write in it and stuff. Their guided practice will be stations with tiered activities where they're put into groups and they'll pull things out of wizard hats, and they'll have to compare. And then for the independent, they're going to be working on their iPads, playing a game, matching and stuff. And then my assessments, my first formal assessment is a note take or an exit ticket. So on the LMO, I'm going to put up 3 objects, and they'll have to say height. It should be length, height, and temperature, and they'll also draw the pictures. My second formal assessment is making math connections. So I'll give them a sheet of paper, I'll say volume. So here they're going to put volume, and then they'll draw a picture of like 2 cups holding water. This will be every day. This will be how it relates to math, and then give a brief explanation. And then my summative assessment is a short quiz that looks like this. So it has all the measurements. They'll draw, and then they'll compare, like for length it would be shorter or longer and stuff like that. So this is my Strand project, and I'm super excited to get to do this and see how it comes out.